I saw my sister's message on Chitter. Just a winky face, a casual mention of our little secret. And my blood ran cold. What secret? And why was she posting about it online, even with a dumb AR filter, making her look like a sparkly unicorn? What did she want? Years. I'd poured years of my life into Klein Rothschild Enterprises. Blood, sweat, and more tears than I care to admit. I was a shark in a designer suit, landing deals most people only dream of. And it was about to pay off? The OmniCorp merger. $2 million. My commission was life-changing. Early retirement. A beachfront condo in Tulum, maybe even, then, the email. Subject: regarding your employment. My stomach dropped faster than a cryptocurrency crash. We regret to inform you. The corporate speak dripped with saccharine cruelty. Fired. Terminated. Let go. All right before the OmniCorp deal closed. Right before my commission. My boss, Richard, a walking, talking caricature of corporate greed, called me into his office. The panoramic view of the neon city lights did nothing to soothe my rage. "Emma, darling," he purred, his voice thick with fake sympathy. "Sometimes things just don't work out." "Don't work out," I repeated, my voice dangerously low. "I brought in that OmniCorp deal, Richard. I practically lived on energy drinks and lukewarm takeout for 6 months to make this happen." He sighed, a heavy theatrical sigh. "The company is restructuring. Budget cuts. You know how it is." I knew exactly how it was. Richard wanted my commission for himself. Plain and simple. "There's nothing I can do, Emma," he said, avoiding my gaze. "Isn't there?" I asked, a dangerous glint in my eye. "Because I seem to recall a few things, unconventional approaches we took to land some of those bigger deals." Richard paled. "What are you implying?" "Just that my memory is surprisingly sharp, especially when it comes to shady business practices." I left his office with a forced smile, my mind already racing. He thought he'd won. He thought he could screw me over and get away with it. He was wrong. The rain pattered on my window as I sat in my apartment, the city a blurry canvas of light outside. $2 million. Gone. Just like that. What would you do? Curl up in a ball and cry? Maybe for a few minutes, but I wasn't the type to stay down for long. I needed a plan, and I knew exactly who to call. Liam, my old partner in crime, so to speak. We hadn't spoken in years, not since I'd left our startup to climb the corporate ladder. He'd always been the tech genius, the one who could make computers sing and bend the internet to his will. Now I needed him to break a few things. His voice was surprised when he answered. "Emma, wow, long time no see. What's up?" I told him everything. The OmniCorp deal, Richard's betrayal, my burning desire for revenge. "So you want me to make some noise?" Liam asked, a hint of amusement in his voice. "I want you to make it impossible for that deal to close without me," I said. "I want Richard to regret the day he crossed me." "Sounds like fun," Liam chuckled. "Consider it done." Liam started digging. Into Klein Rothschild servers, into Richard's emails, into everything. He found vulnerabilities I didn't even know existed. He was a digital ghost, leaving no trace, sowing chaos with a few lines of code. The first sign of trouble came a week later. A fake news article surfaced online, claiming OmniCorp was involved in unethical labor practices. The article went viral, fueled by social media bots and cleverly placed ads. The stock price plummeted. Richard called me, his voice frantic. "Emma, what's going on? Did you have anything to do with this?" "Me?" I feigned innocence. "Why would I do that, Richard?" "I'm just a disgruntled former employee." He didn't believe me, of course, but he couldn't prove anything. Then came the data breach. Sensitive information about the merger leaked to the press, confidential emails, financial projections, everything. The Securities and Exchange Commission started sniffing around. The OmniCorp deal was hanging by a thread. Richard was losing it. He was snapping at everyone, pacing his office like a caged animal. I watched it all unfold from the comfort of my apartment. a glass of wine in hand. Sweet, sweet revenge. But something felt wrong. Was this really what I wanted? To destroy everything Richard had built? To bring down the entire company, even if it meant hurting innocent people? My phone buzzed with an anonymous message. "You're playing a dangerous game, Emma. Stop now." My hands started shaking, a cold sweat breaking out on my forehead. Who was watching me? I called Liam. "Someone knows what we're doing," I said, my voice trembling. I got a threat. "Don't worry," Liam said calmly. "I'll take care of it. They won't bother you again." He was too confident, too calm. It was starting to dawn on me that Liam might have his own agenda. Was I just a pawn in his game? Then my sister Chloe called. Her voice was shaky, barely a whisper. "Emma, I need to talk to you. It's about Mom." Mom? What did Mom have to do with any of this? I met Chloe at a cafe with free Wi-Fi and glass walls. She looked pale and drawn, like she hadn't slept in days. "What is it, Chloe?" I asked, my patience wearing thin. "Mom, she's in trouble," Chloe said, her eyes welling up with tears. She borrowed a lot of money a long time ago to start her business, and she never paid it back. Richard, he owns the debt. Richard? He owned my mother's debt? That was how he controlled her. That was why she always seemed so anxious, so stressed. He was using her. "He's threatening to take everything from her," Chloe sobbed. "Her house, her business, everything." Suddenly, the pieces started to fall into place. Richard hadn't just fired me for the commission. He wanted to use my mother as leverage, to keep me quiet. I felt a surge of rage so intense, it threatened to consume me. He wasn't just a greedy, manipulative boss. He was a monster. I had to stop Liam. I had to protect my mother, but how? The Omnicorp deal was on the verge of collapse. Richard was desperate, and Liam was playing his own game. I called Richard. "Let's talk," I said, my voice cold and hard. "I think we can come to an arrangement." We met at a deserted bar downtown, the neon lights reflecting in the puddles on the street. "What do you want, Emma?" Richard asked. His eyes narrowed. "I want you to leave my mother alone," I said. "And I want my commission." "Your commission?" He laughed. "You think you can blackmail me?" "I'm not blackmailing you, Richard," I said. "I'm offering you a way out. Stop the threats against my mother, reinstate me, and I'll make sure the Omnicorp deal goes through smoothly." He hesitated. He knew I had the power to destroy him. He also knew that the Omnicorp deal was his only chance to salvage his reputation. "And what about Liam?" he asked. "Can you control him?" "I can handle Liam," I said, even though I had no idea how. Richard agreed. He signed a contract, promising to leave my mother alone and reinstate me with my full commission. Now I had to deal with Liam. I found him at his apartment, surrounded by computer screens and empty energy drink cans. "It's over, Liam," I said. "I made a deal with Richard." "A deal?" Liam scoffed. "You sold out? After everything we did?" "I didn't sell out," I said. "I protected my family. Richard was using my mother." Liam's face hardened. "So, you're just going to let him get away with it?" "No," I said. "I'm not letting him get away with anything. But I'm not going to destroy the company just to get revenge. There are other ways." I told Liam my plan. A plan to expose Richard's shady business practices, to hold him accountable for his actions. A plan that wouldn't hurt innocent people. Liam listened in silence. When I was finished, he nodded slowly. "I'm in," he said. "But this time, we do it my way." Together, we gathered all the evidence of Richard's wrongdoings. We compiled it into a detailed report, complete with emails, financial records, and testimonies from former employees. Then we leaked it to the press. The story exploded. The SEC launched an investigation. Richard was suspended from his position. Klein Rothschild's stock price plummeted again. This time, there was no coming back. Richard was ruined. I got my commission, and I used a portion of it to help my mother pay off her debts and rebuild her business. The Omnicorp deal eventually went through, but under new management. They asked me to stay on, to help them clean up the mess Richard had left behind. I thought about it for a long time. The money was tempting, the power was intoxicating. But in the end, I decided to walk away. I didn't need the money, I didn't need the power. I just needed to be free. I started my own company, a small ethical firm that focused on building long-term relationships, not just chasing profits. And you know what? It's been the most rewarding thing I've ever done. Sometimes, revenge isn't about destroying your enemies, it's about building something better. It's about proving that you can be successful without compromising your values. It's about choosing family and freedom. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Thank you. No return address. No name. Just a single, simple word. It felt good. I never found out who sent the anonymous threat, or the thank you. Maybe it was someone in the company. Maybe it was someone else entirely. Some mysteries are just never meant to be solved, I guess. In the end, did I get complete revenge? Maybe not in the traditional sense, but I got something much better. I got my life back. I got my family back. And I got the satisfaction of knowing that I did the right thing, even when it was hard. So, what would you have done? Would you have taken the money and run? Or would you have fought for something more? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this. What would you choose? Because sometimes, the greatest victories aren't the ones that make you rich, but the ones that make you a better person. But the story doesn't end there. Karma, as they say, is a dish best served cold. And mine was about to get a whole lot icier. Remember Liam, the tech wizard who helped me expose Richard? Well, a few months after everything settled down, he contacted me again. Said he'd stumbled across something interesting while cleaning up some of the digital trails we'd left behind. Emma, you need to see this, he said, his voice unusually serious. We met at a virtual reality cafe, the kind where you strap on a headset and escape into a digital world while sipping overpriced coffee. I chose a tropical beach setting to try and relax, but Liam's grim expression quickly shattered the illusion. He showed me a series of encrypted files he'd found buried deep within Klein Rothschild's system. Files that Richard had tried to erase, but Liam had managed to recover. They contained detailed records of illegal campaign contributions, offshore accounts, and insider trading, big-time insider trading. Richard had been using his position to manipulate the stock market for years, lining his pockets with millions of dollars. And it wasn't just him. The files implicated several other high-ranking executives at Klein Rothschild, including some people I actually liked. Good people who'd gotten caught up in Richard's web of deceit. What would you do with information like that? Turn a blind eye? Pretend you didn't see anything? I couldn't. Not after everything I'd been through. But exposing these people would mean bringing down the entire company, potentially ruining their lives and careers. It was a difficult decision, but ultimately, I knew what I had to do. I contacted the authorities. I handed over all the evidence Liam had found, along with my own testimony. The investigation was swift and brutal. Several executives were arrested, including Richard. Klein Rothschild was fined millions of dollars and forced to undergo a massive restructuring. The company survived, but it was a shadow of its former self. Many people blamed me for what happened. They said I was a traitor, a troublemaker. They accused me of trying to destroy Klein Rothschild out of spite. But I knew I'd done the right thing. I'd exposed the truth, and that was all that mattered. My sister Chloe surprised me. She stood by me through it all. She told me she was proud of me for doing what was right, even when it was difficult. She even started working for my new company, helping me build a business based on honesty and integrity. But the fallout from the scandal wasn't over yet. A few weeks later, I received a package in the mail. It was a small, unmarked box. Inside, there was a USB drive. I plugged it into my computer, and a video started playing. It was a recording of Richard sitting in a dark room, speaking directly to the camera. "Emma," he said, his voice raspy and filled with hatred. You think you've won. You think you've destroyed me, but you haven't. I still have one more card to play." He paused, a sinister smile spreading across his face. "I know your secret, Emma. The one you've been hiding for years. The one that will destroy everything you've built." The video ended. My heart pounded in my chest. What secret was he talking about? What could he possibly know that could destroy me? My mind raced, trying to think of anything I might have done in the past that could come back to haunt me. But I couldn't think of anything, or at least anything that Richard could know about. Could this be related to Chloe's cryptic chitter message? The one about our little secret? Was it about our dad? Dad passed away when we were kids, a sudden heart attack, but Mom always seemed guarded about the circumstances. I grabbed my phone and called Chloe. "We need to talk," I said, my voice trembling. "Richard knows something about our past, something about Dad." Chloe sounded scared. "I don't know what you're talking about, Emma," she said. "There's nothing to talk about." She was lying. I could hear it in her voice. "Chloe, please," I pleaded. "If you know something, you need to tell me. Richard is threatening to expose it." There was a long silence. Then Chloe sighed. "Okay," she said. "Meet me at Mom's house. I'll tell you everything." The drive to my mother's house felt like an eternity. Rain lashed against the windshield, blurring the neon lights of the city. I kept replaying Richard's video in my head, trying to figure out what he could possibly know. The closer I got to Mom's, the more my anxiety spiked. Mom's house was exactly as I remembered it. Cozy, but filled with an underlying sense of unease. The air always felt heavy, as if secrets were trapped within the walls. Chloe was already there when I arrived. She looked even more pale and drawn than before. My mother sat in her usual armchair, her face etched with worry. "What's going on, Emma?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Chloe says Richard is threatening you." "He is," I said. "He says he knows a secret about our family, something about Dad." My mother's eyes widened. She looked at Chloe, a silent plea for help. Chloe took a deep breath. "It's true, Emma," she said. "There is a secret about Dad, about how he really died." She paused, her voice barely above a whisper. "He didn't die of a heart attack, Emma. He killed himself." The words hit me like a physical blow. My father committed suicide? After, I looked at my mother, searching for answers. She nodded slowly, tears streaming down her face. "I didn't want you to know. I thought it would be too much for you to handle. I wanted to protect you." Protect me? By lying to me for my entire life? The anger surged through me again, stronger than ever before. I felt betrayed, lied to, manipulated. "Why?" I asked, my voice shaking. "Why didn't you tell me? He was in debt," Chloe blurted out. "Massive debt. He was going to lose everything. He couldn't handle it. He thought we'd be better off without him. And Richard knew this. That's why he was able to control my mother. That's why he was so confident he could destroy me. He had found the one secret that could shatter my entire life. What would you do in my place? Would you forgive your mother for lying to you for so long? Would you expose the truth about your father's death, even if it meant hurting your family even more? I didn't know what to do. I felt lost and confused. I needed time to think. I left my mother's house and drove aimlessly through the city, the rain still pouring down. I parked my car overlooking the river, the neon lights reflecting in the dark water. The city felt cold and empty. I pulled out my phone and looked at a picture of my father. A happy, smiling man. A man I thought I knew. But I didn't know him at all. I made a choice that would change everything. I decided to confront Richard, to face him one last time, to tell him that he couldn't hurt me anymore. I found him at a dive bar on the outskirts of the city. He was sitting alone at a table, nursing a drink. He looked defeated, broken, but his eyes still burned with hatred. "Emma," he said, his voice slurred. "What do you want?" "I want you to know that you can't hurt me anymore, Richard," I said. "I know the truth about my father, and it doesn't change anything. It doesn't define me." He laughed, a hollow, bitter laugh. "You're wrong, Emma," he said. "It defines everything. It's your legacy. It's who you are." "No," I said, "it's not. I define who I am, not my father, not you. I am more than this. I am better than this." I turned and walked away, leaving him alone in the darkness. I felt a sense of peace I hadn't felt in a long time. I had faced my demons. I had accepted the truth. And I had. As I drove home, the clouds parted, and the stars came out. The city looked beautiful, sparkling in the night. And for the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful. I opened the door to my apartment, and there she was, my sister Chloe, holding a letter. Chloe's face was pale, illuminated by the dim hallway light. The letter in her hand trembled slightly. "What's that?" I asked, a knot forming in my stomach. She hesitated, her eyes darting nervously around the apartment. "It's from Mom," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "She asked me to give it to you." I reached for the letter, my fingers brushing against Chloe's. The paper felt thin and fragile, like a dried leaf. I opened it carefully, my heart pounding in my chest. The handwriting was my mother's, but it was shaky and uneven, as if she had written it in a state of great distress. "My dearest Emma, I know I've hurt you deeply. I know I've kept secrets from you for too long, but I did it because I loved you, because I wanted to protect you. But now I realize that I can't protect you anymore. The truth has to come out, and I can't bear to face you again. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Love, Mom." The letter ended abruptly, without a signature or a date. A wave of nausea washed over me. "Where is she?" I asked, my voice hoarse. Chloe shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "I don't know," she said. "She left the house this morning, and she hasn't come back." A cold dread washed over me. My mother was gone. And the letter felt like a suicide note. I grabbed my phone and dialed her number. It went straight to voicemail. "Mom, it's Emma," I said, my voice shaking. "Please call me. Please tell me you're okay." I hung up the phone, my hands trembling. We had to find her, now. Chloe and I We drove to all her favorite places. The park where she used to take us when we were kids. The cafe where she met her friends for coffee. The church where she volunteered every Sunday. But she wasn't at any of them.